order. Pursuant to the Open Public Meeting Act, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in accordance with the law. Please stand for the flag salute. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please, can I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Kriebel?
Here.
Mr. Langria?
Here.
Mayor Holtzman?
Here. We're going to start tonight off with a presentation for the Lewis Bay Second Scholarship Certificates. We had 5 participants this year. They were excellent essays. I've read each one of them. I think it's great that the youth that live in Ventnor see what local government does for them. A lot of people wrote about police and fire. Other people wrote about public works. It was a nice mixture across the gamut of departments that the city has. So tonight we have a certificate for the 5 young adults who participated, and we will announce who is going to the states. So I see Tommy Peterson, you're here, right? Is Teresa Bunkeri here? I think she said she couldn't make it. Patrice Baselli? No? Jacob Lewinsky? Okay. And Shanzita Alam. Okay. So, Tommy and, I want to say it correctly, hold on. Did I say it correctly? Okay. Sanzita, we are going to have you come up with your parents and give you the certificate, and I will announce that you, Sanzita, your essay went to the state level, so now you will be competing against the youths across the state. And last year, I think there was maybe 55 to 60 essays. Last year was the first year that Ventnor City participated. The commissioners and I got the notice, and we advertised and sent things to all the high schools, and we were very fortunate and blessed that the one that we sent to the state was actually one of the winners. 3 students are chosen to receive a $1,000 scholarship. So last year was our first time doing it, and we had a winner on the state level, and I'm sure we're going to have a winner this time. Okay? Yes.
Yeah, a little separation now.
Church and state and flags on it.
Congratulations. Good job. Good luck. Congratulations. Congrats. Good luck there. Good seeing you again. Good luck to you.
Pictures. Just for the public to know, the way the scholarship works is we send information to all the high schools that we know that the residents of Ventnor go to. It doesn't just go to Atlantic City, it goes to anywhere we have a student. It doesn't matter what high school they go to, but they have to submit their essay into the mayor of the town that they live in. So we send it to all the high schools, to the counselors. I don't know how much it's getting disseminated to the students. We had it on our Facebook page a few times. So, you know, last year we only had a few, I think, this year we had.
It was just mainland.
It goes to mainland,
Ocean City,
Holy Spirit, the Prep, Atlantic City High School, ACIT, Cedar Creek. We send them everywhere where we go. They go everywhere. They go to every high school that we have students. So, but this year we had more participate than last year. So hopefully each year we'll gain a little bit more momentum, because I think it's great. It's great. It's a 500-word essay. We have a 4-panel committee to vote and pick who they think is best. They like them all. We didn't have, we had different votes, but you won. Congratulations. Welcome. So we'll get notified. Yes, right. Great, that's the one. And she was actually featured in the New Jersey magazine. It's great. Good job. Good job. So as this is our first meeting of the month, this is the meeting that we have our department heads attend to give us an update on what's going on in their department, as well as going over our capital projects. Lisa, do you have a list of these up? I don't have a list of them. I do. Can I have, I think you made copies and you didn't.
Don't go to them, the names ahead of time.
Actually, Bill's going for Bill Crothers, because he has to go to a Zoom meeting.
So first up, we have Bill Crothers, who is our tax assessor.
I don't think Jim.
If you have.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We ended up with 197 tax appeals, which was 6 more than last year. And we've already had several withdraw. And I'm working with EPA, who's professional property appraisers, to work out the hearings. We have the hearings date set. The first one's going to be May 10th, which is the first.
That's my birthday.
Happy early birthday.
Happy early birthday.
39.
56.
And that's pretty much what I'm working on now, plus the added assessments as well.
Where are we at with that?
The addeds, we got several new houses. Got some abatements coming on now. So we're up probably like $2 million so far on addeds, but that'll increase dramatically after we get the tax bills done. Then I'll be able to concentrate solely on that.
Great.
Any
questions? Yes.
One, Leon gave it to us, so just to confirm, there's been some back and forth in public. The rateables were up last year, what?
Well, we had $12 million in added assessments, but with the tax appeals and the demos, we netted about $5 million in the positive, which is the first time in
12 years.
Exactly.
So, to be clear, our rateables for the entire community are up $5 million.
Yes. And the ratio actually went down. It was at 96, it's at like 92 or 93 right now, which means properties are selling for more than they're assessed at. A higher ratio over 100 means that it's selling for less than the assessed value.
Even better.
Yes.
I went back and looked at 20 years of history. And you see it's starting to go back up.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
The rebound really helped a lot, I think,
Yes.
to bring everything on.
It's set.
Mm-hmm.
Go on.
Absolutely.
Great.
Thanks, Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
Jerry's not here. Jimmy Agostino, you're up next. Our code officer.
I was asked to explain a little bit about item 6,
Yes.
reference to the R7 district. Previously, we were allowing,
Can I ask you a question first?
yes,
Because I've lived here my whole life, and I mean, I know the districts by voting. What is R7? Exactly where is that?
R7 is a lot of the North Beach area.
Okay.
There's a small portion in the heights towards the bridge,
Okay.
not, the larger sections, the R2 towards Wellington, but the first couple blocks are R7.
Okay.
And then you have just a few down the other end, like towards Rosboro, your unit south, maybe your unit north, in that area, there's a small portion.
So it's a few areas, it's not one?
Yes.
Zone, okay.
Yeah.
So it's really not a district, okay,
And
I got you.
years ago,
Land use system.
Land use, okay. I didn't say that in here, so I was a little confused.
yeah, on the zoning map,
Okay.
designates R1 through pretty much R11.
Okay. I got it now, thank you.
And previously, the R7 was a 2-family zone years ago, 78 to 90 in that area. We've seen the growth get stagnant because it went to single family, and no one was knocking anything down and building new due to the fact you would knock down a duplex and was only allowed to build a single family. The last administration created an ordinance where if you had a certificate of nonconformity, whereas you grandfathered the property in through the zoning planning board, you could demo it and rebuild a two-family home. Our planning board engineer found some fault in that regulation, and all this is doing is cleaning up the verbiage, shall I say. It's making a two-family home a conditional permitted use if you have this certificate of nonconformity. And instead of throughout the community, we kind of concentrated on the R7 zone where our biggest concentration of the basement apartments and the older two families are. So this permits it, and it kind of cleans it up as far as the state land use law.
How it was previously written and enacted, it did not comply with the MOU
Gotcha.
land use law.
Okay.
When we started seeing some of these come in, Roger brought to my attention, that's not quite how that's supposed to happen. So we cleaned it up.
Good.
It's a positive because it's taking down, in most cases, an older home that is in poor condition, and we're getting back a brand new code compliant, flood compliant, newer product. Money, better, it's better. Look for the community.
And it eliminates a lot of those basement apartments to where they weren't be rented for summer use, to where if you build 2 3-bedroom condos,
Right.
you get the summer rentals, and because everything I'm seeing now come across my desk is second homes.
Right.
I mean, to where 5 years ago or so, everything was casino help and families moving in, to where now it's second homes, even talking to the realtors.
Okay. Great, thank you.
So just to be clear, this makes it sort of all that stock that we have that is the basement apartment that used to in these areas, it now makes it that particular home, someone can purchase it, tear it down and turn it into a
Right, depending on the lot size, whether side by side or one above the other. Yes, but they have to obtain the certificate of nonconformity. So that's grandfather and then per the state land use regulations.
And so the side benefit is it makes those properties also more valuable now.
Yes,
To the owner.
yes.
The potential.
I've had 3 sitting on my desk waiting for this to be passed,
Right.
because they assumed that the last regulation was permitted. We found that now we got to put the brakes on it. So there's 3 right now ready to go.
Great, that's good news. And that's good. Good ordinance.
Thank you. Next, we have Ed Stinson, our new Superintendent of Public Works Engineer. Ed?
Good evening. Tonight on your agenda, you have Resolution 138, which is a road change order for well number 7. It's a roughly $4,500 increase to the contract. It was to furnish and install a variable frequency drive, a VFD controller for the pumps. It represents less than a 4% change order to the contract. And with this piece of equipment, then that well should be operational by the end. For the Department of Public Works, right now we're gearing up for the summertime, full press for that. We're working with the lifeguard. We're removing lifeguard tents for the prep and prepping for the new tents to be installed. We're down to, I think we have 2 remaining. The tent builder is coming in on Tuesday, I believe, to follow and hopefully catch up with us. We'll get the final 2 done hopefully next week. Fall back, then we'll do the railing repairs for those tents. We're also working on boardwalk repairs. We built steps at Lafayette Boulevard, Lafayette on the back east side.
That's going to happen.
Lafayette Avenue.
Lafayette Avenue. We have the rails still to do, but the steps are in. We also just completed the steps for the fishing pier on the east side, also waiting for the ground. So hopefully The rails for both will be installed in the next week or two.
We got positive comments already on both side steps, or the east side.
I will say that Dave Smith came back to supervise both of those constructions and did a good job. We're also building 2 new stands for the lifeguards. Moving forward with boardwalk repairs, that's going to be an ongoing thing, obviously, and it's something that we're going to put a lot of focus on this year. Looking at putting together a boardwalk crew that will focus at least 1 day, possibly 2 days, a week, on doing repairs and keeping up on maintenance of the boardwalk. Then we have the beach prep. We built the trash and recycling bin enclosures. They're being painted now. At least the tops are being painted. They'll be deployed early May. And then working with Jerry Thomas for the ball field, the irrigation, starting to cut grass, things like that. And parking meter deployment. We're really getting that heavy now. Right, as soon as we're finished that, we're going to move into the signs and then we're always keeping up with the traffic signals as well. So, full court press, like I said, for the summer, but we have a plan. We're very excited for it. For capital, I am working with Maria Toro and Kathy. I'm working on preparing the request for proposals to our pool of engineers. We're going to start with some drainage projects, the Kingswood Drive drainage, and also the Winchester Avenue. We're going to do a repair for the roof on the Public Works garage, and we also are going to focus on the library building repairs. We had a conference call with the NJEIT, which is a funding source for clean and drinking water projects. And we're going to look at what kind of opportunities there are for funding for the project, the water sewer projects that we've already authorized, and look to see whether there's an advantage to pursuing that funding. That would be some sewer and water main replacements on Derby, on Baltimore, Newark, and that's about it.
Great.
Great. That's it?
Thanks, Ed.
Thank you very much.
When we met on the tents, you were talking about a logo, a decal on the side, the Ventnor Beach Patrol logo. Did you need me to follow up with that, or did you find a source?
So I have not. I know we talked with one of the builders that is familiar with that, the boat building. Okay. But I didn't follow up. If you'd like.
I'll put it on my list.
Okay.
I'll look in.
It's just let me know.
Thank you.
Next, we have Ernie.
Good evening. Tonight we'll discuss a couple things. On the agenda, there are actually 3 resolutions that involve water and sewer. 2 of them are for resolutions for equipment. The first one is the valve actuator. The valve actuator is going to be used for compliance with the Water Quality Assurance Act. That's been funded through our capital program, and look forward to using that in the future here in Ventnor. The other item is for the cold water meters. That's for the water meters for our residents that use, that help us account for the water that is used by our residents and how they run water and sewer. That is basically the amount of meters that I'm probably foreseeing to use for this summer. Eventually, we're going to have to do a very large capital project to take care of our meters, but I do not see that in the near future. Our meters in our system seem to be doing very well, and we're working on improving the system. The last thing regarding resolutions tonight regarding water and sewer, we had an emergency repair on the 10th of April. What it involved is a 1-inch water service, and it was at the intersection of Suffolk and Winchester. The 1-inch service was buried below 12 inches of concrete. And rather than kill our equipment, we had our vendor come out and saw cut it. Made it much more effective, and it made the process a lot simpler once that was removed. our guys from Ventnor Water and Sewer went in and replaced, put a brand new service line in for the customer. And that will help with keeping the system tight and reducing the amount of leaks in our system. As far as our infrastructure, water, we have 3 water plants that are in operation and they're fully ready to go for summer. There's going to be minor maintenance things with that, but that's as we go along. Wastewater. Wastewater we're going to be spending a little bit of time on, and that's 2 to 3 weeks. We're going to go into different areas in the system, and we're going to be vectoring and jetting areas that we know that are a little bit more of a problem area. So we're going to take care of that. And then we're going to go to each one of our lift stations, and we're going to do the same. Clean out the lift station. This is exactly the same thing we did last spring and fall, and it seemed to work out with keeping the pumps and those systems running very well during our high peak times. The last couple of last things. As you know, we're going to be doing a coordination change out from gas chlorine to a system that will not be as complicated, it'll be actually much more safer. We've met with the engineer, we've explained our needs, and we're looking to hear back from them, and we're going to be pushing forward on that. And then lastly, we've started the process of turning on water in Ventnor for the season as far as getting the public bathrooms ready. The pier was completed today, so that's all ready to go as far as that's concerned. And then irrigation in the city for grass is going to be turned on gradually. One of the concerns is with the weather, we don't want to put on too much because we don't want everything to break if it goes down below 30 degrees, and I don't trust the weather this year at all. So we're going to take it easy going through and turning them on easily. And that's what I have for tonight.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
One quick question. Some of the breaks we had over the winter, we put cold patches on, mainly was on Dorset Avenue. We're going to come back in and hit that with hot patch soon.
2 things are going to happen with that. One, the ones we did in water and sewer, we're going to be getting hot patch. And we're going to be cutting that out and putting it in exactly. The one on Dorset was done by our vendor.
Okay.
They owe us that, and they're going to make good on that.
Good.
I think there are 3 locations like that offhand. I can only think of one. But they will make good on that, and we've already been charged with the initial charge of the actual job. They will get done.
All right, good.
So,
Thanks.
Thank you.
you're welcome. Thank you.
Next on my list, I have Tora.
I gave you a packet.
I'm ready to.
Okay, I've given you a snapshot of where we were at the end of last month financially. I'm excited to say that the money that we invested, the $3 million that we invested, it's doing pretty good. We've made about, as of the end of last month, we made about $3,500, a little over. It doesn't sound like a lot to somebody, but this is money we wouldn't have had.
Exactly.
We would have put that money away. So I'm excited about that. We are in sound financial shape, I want to say. Then on the next page, I just gave you a list of the things that we, as the finance department, are working on this month. Some of it completed, other things we are still working on. We have the new time clock. Jim has worked very hard to get us a time clock. We should be starting training on it tomorrow to see how that's sort of all fit into what we have. We probably have to make some changes. We have to look at our payroll policy and redo that to include this new time clock.
And that's the bioreader with the thumbprint?
Yes.
There's one of those here, there's one in Public Works.
Yes.
Thank you.
So we already, some of us are already testing it out, and it seems to be working very well.
It shocks you, it doesn't work.
No, it takes a picture.
It takes a
And
picture.
not very flattering picture.
Well, you're so close to
A
it.
couple of times.
So close to it.
Yes. But it's something good.
So it takes your thumbprint and your photograph, or only?
Well,
one or
it
the
takes
other?
your thumbprint,
Sorry.
that's how you sign in. But if there's something wrong, if it's not the right person, if it does not recognize the thumbprint or it's unable to read it,
Right.
then it's gonna take a picture. This way, when we go back and look at it, we can say, oh, wait a second, that's not Toro signing in there,
Great.
you know.
Okay.
Or, you know,
Good.
something is going wrong with it, we can pick it up.
Tracking system. so-
Yeah, yeah.
Great.
So we should start that tomorrow. The fishing pier is gonna open on the 16th.
Yes.
As far as finance is concerned, we've given them everything that they need. It's sitting in my office Monday morning, it's gonna be picked up by Public Works and
Good.
they're on their way.
Marie and I met with the two guys that are returning peer
Yeah.
masters, so they're ready to go.
Yeah, so that's good. Hopefully, by the end of this month, we will be adopting our budget, and then that gets posted and we are on our way. At the end of this month, the annual financial statements are due to the state. Lisa has sent out everybody's passwords, so we have to make sure we do them. All of us sitting up here, including the department heads.
I did mine the day I got it.
Oh, good.
I got the prize.
Okay. It's usually one of the questions on the
Best
best
practice.
practices. Yes.
We get points for it.
Yes. So we have to make sure everybody gets that done. Next week, Valid is going to be here to start enrolling employees with the college savings plans. I think that's a good thing also that we're doing. The surf camp is on the agenda, and I did find out that the current vendor that we use to do our credit card transactions for the badges is able to put that on. So as soon as we give him the information to put on, people can pay for and fill out the forms
Okay.
that they need for the surf camp on Vidly, it's called Vidly as well. The last things in your packets are financial reports for the two major funds that we have. I gave you revenue reports for the water, sewer, and the current fund. And I gave you budget reports for those two funds. These reports are a little different from the ones I gave you last month. I don't know which you would prefer. This is shorter, it's more summarized.
That's good.
Okay,
So I
so,
think this works for us here.
okay,
If we have questions, we can always come talk to you
Yeah.
about it longer. So this is-
so, yeah, so you can kind of take this and look at it, and, you know, if you have any questions, I'm just a phone call away. And, that's it.
Great,
Nice work.
thank you. Okay. Next, we have Lisa Ham, our municipal clerk.
We had our dog clinic on Saturday. Everything went well. Thanks to Dr. Grant for coming out. We did 40 dogs and 1 cat. So it was a little down from last year.
Great cat.
Yeah. But it was good. Everything went well. And thanks to the fire department for all their help for letting us be there. And they set the tables for us. So it was good.
They cooked your breakfast.
Yeah.
Do we know how the, her seminar went?
It was awesome.
Was it good? How was the attendance?
It was lousy, but 5 people that were there, we had a good time. We learned so much about nutrition for
The dogs.
dogs and cats. It was amazing.
There's a lot that people
So
don't
we should
know.
do it next year. I mean,
Great.
those who didn't go miss out on great.
Good. Because you have 3, right?
I think 20.
Dogs, stop.
They should keep my dogs like me. That's the way I did it next year.
Uh-huh. You just keep buying, you and I keep buying dogs.
I got my record shot this year.
Yeah, mine are good. Okay. Chief Cahill. Good evening.
First, I'd like to thank the commissioners for acting swiftly, along with the counselor for the mutual aid ordinance that's going through tonight. It's very vital for our grant process. We attached legitimately with the joint communities that we're looking for, federal funding through. and this is a big help, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
And credit to the chief for pushing that, because quite honestly, I was shocked that we didn't have something in place. Right. And when I say we, apparently that's countywide, so.
It is absolutely countywide.
Kind of like a handshake we used to have, right?
It is, but if you don't have a written agreement, and they get compensated back through the federal government or through any entity, we wouldn't be compensated if we were there when the event occurred. So now we will. The department for responses for March, we had 30 fire alarm responses, including one working fire, which became a third alarm, with mutual aid from 5 different cities: Margate, Atlantic City, Longport, Brigantine, and Pleasantville, covering the city and working at the scene in some pretty austere conditions. But we kept the fire to its point of origin, and everybody came into town and the process worked, so covered our needs at the time. We had 86 response for emergency service in various degrees, 118 emergency medical responses, for a total of 234 responses up to April 1st. That's 103 over last year on the same date. So we've been busy so far this summer season. The department has started using some of the capital expenditures that have been budgeted. We replaced all the gear racks at Station 1, which were basically destroyed with Sandy, and our gear was laying in piles on the floor. We now have the appropriate, I guess, compartmentalization for storing our gear, which is very expensive, as you'll see in a later thing. The ordinance was for $16,600. We were able to get the 45 units constructed and installed for under 11. So there's a balance saved on that. There was also a turnout gear ordinance that was written for $30,000, which became part 1 of a 2-part system for getting gear. We were able to get 13 sets of gear and repair one of our thermal cameras for a little bit over $29,000, which also left us a balance, positive balance. Then capital grant 2017-041, which was our big grant for turnout gear, $95,000. We were able to get the remaining needed gear, 23 pairs of boots, 35 pairs of gloves, 23 pairs of flood boots for working in flooding waters, some various other sundry items, and we were able to get that for $51,000, which was well below the initial estimate. We were able to wheel and deal with the vendors a little bit, and I told them I was going to start chopping it, to the point where we were able to add raincoats for all the guys and female firefighters. The total cost came in at $26,000 under the ordinance initial estimate.
Great job.
Yeah, it's actually working out. That's good. We were able to get all the Operations Center furniture at the budget amount, and the total savings all in for the ordinance for the fire department, we saved $46,000 plus under the ordinance budget.
Great.
So
Great.
it's working out very well.
Great.
The fire department's in the process of being reevaluated by the Insurance Servicing Organization, which is a company that grades the city on the fire department, the communications department, and the water department. Then they set you at a rating, which is what the insurance companies use for commercial and residential insurance. We're currently at a 3, which is very good. The meeting I had yesterday and the information that I was giving back and forth with the investigator, I think we may get us to a level 2, which will drop the insurance rates citywide for everybody. So we'll know more about that in the next oncoming months. But now positive news.
Wonderful.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you. Catherine. And last, of course not least, Chief Biaggi.
Everybody buckle up. Not that bad this time. Got a lot of good news. I don't have any bad. First, I've been invited to a seminar on Narcan being put on by Atlantic County Prosecutor Tyner, and a couple of our officers are going to be invited. We have utilized the Narcan a lot more than I'm proud of, but I'm proud of the amount of lives we've saved. It's really going to be up to the individual to make that life change. So we do our job keeping them alive. And the fire department is working in tandem with us. We take it serious. We understand the life, the downfall of addiction, and we're doing our job here in Ventnor. We don't judge, we get them the help they need, and it's up to them. So I'm going to be part of that seminar. It's going to be held at CACC, CA, whatever it is, CCC. Another good thing. We got the delivery and reinstatement of a traffic unit for Ventnor, which we haven't had in a long time. That consisted of assigning a couple officers for each shift to be assigned specifically to traffic safety, traffic enforcement, and that includes the delivery of a stealth car, which is pretty cool. It's out back. You can't see it. It's that good. It's that good. It's like, you walk into it, it's just like, wow.
It's not your scooter.
It's right, it's not. It's really cool. It just looks like, and the thing is, it's a really low profile car, and for all the people that complain about like Winchester and Monmouth Avenue, that you can see the cops from a mile away because the car sticks up about 12 feet. This is really low profile. It's got state-of-the-art equipment in it, and we're out there tagging people that have been violating. And yeah, we've got some locals, and they're not happy, but I mean, some of them are the same people that complain about the speeders, and so you kind of throw that in their face, and it's it's a little bit of told you so, So we're doing our job. Yeah, that's fine. I'm sure you've got those calls too. So yeah, so beware out there. I don't think any of you guys look like hardcore speeders out there. You maybe, I'm not sure, but the rest of you just take it easy. The season's around us. We do take it serious with the enforcement. The no texting, all that stuff is a big thing. So we do have that traffic safety unit. We're quite proud of it. Another thing, our Class 1 and Class 2 officers for our summer and for our court, we're interviewing now. We have academies set up for them, which is going to be really good. It'll be a great burden lift on our overtime once we get them through the academy. Our Class 1s will have either 6 or 7. They'll be doing the job for local ordinances on the boardwalk, on the beach. There's another thing. We'll be going after them dog walkers and stuff once the season hits. So get your dogs down there now and enjoy it while you can, because we're going to be tagging people. It's just the way it is. So most of the people, and I hate to say it, are irresponsible when it comes to their dogs, and they don't clean up after them, and it's a shame that they ruin it for everybody. But there's ordinances on the books and we're dealing with it. And our Class 2s will be covering our court, which will alleviate court days last about 20 hours a day. So we'll be having our officers stay there rather than pay these guys $12, $15 an hour, rather than the overtime for the police officers. Line signs, lanes, planes, automobiles, all that stuff. I'm working really good with Kevin and City Yard. We have a priority list. I've talked to Maria. The list changes weekly as to what's a priority, but I think it's meters, more meters, a lot of meters. Then we have 2-hour
Parking permit only.
Whoa, you're getting ahead of yourself there. You're part of the problem jumping in on this, okay? So let's just stick with meters, 2-hour parking, handicap spots.
Yes.
And then everything surrounding that. So eventually, you're going to have to walk offshore to get to Ventnor. That's what's going to happen. We're going to have a monorail. That's our next thing. It's going to be a capital. But, all right. Yeah, we're working on this. Pretty good.
On the striping, I don't.
Oh no, please jump in. The striping, I have good. The striping, we're doing good because I'm working with Kathy and Ed. Can I call you Ed? I mean, we just met. So, Ed, we've been working on that. He's going to get some linear feet that evidently Kathy needs and county evidently needs.
Right, that's what we
the
have.
exact
Right.
micron of inches of paint we need. So we're working on that. We're going to mimic marking from the crosswalks on Atlantic Avenue. It's called the Continental.
Yep.
So it's going to be hash marks. It's going to be, I believe they use the west side of each street. Is it the west side?
I think so. Yeah.
So I think it's right. So we're going to mimic them. It works well. It's high visibility. And it's going to bring us to another thing, which is bike lanes and bike lanes on boardwalks, which we're going to have to talk about eventually.
It's on.
Yeah. So I guess I'm here for the night. I didn't plan that well.
Is that crosswalks for and Ventnor?
Well, no. The crosswalk. Well, yes. We'll redo the ones on Ventnor, but Atlantic Avenue is really the issue in the summer.
Right.
And we try year after year to train people, drivers, people that walk. They just don't get it. I've gotten in trouble in the past for saying you can't fix a certain mentality. So I don't say that word anymore, but you can't fix that mentality. and people still think they can walk out into the street and it's going to stop a 3-ton car from hitting them. It's just, we've been really lucky that this hasn't happened. So we're going to hit them again with education. It'll stick with some people, hopefully, and they'll learn to wait for that moment to step out there. But we're also working on lights and waiting for a grant so we can fix our lights, which would help the whole process. And then once we fix the lights, we could probably move ahead with talking about road diet. We're talking about bike lanes on Atlantic Avenue. We're talking about dropping our speed limit down to 25. So there's a lot of things that need to happen, but that's a huge expenditure. We can't afford it right now, so it's going to be enforcement and education.
Great.
I'm pretty happy with that. And let's see, what was the last thing? Last thing is a biggie. We had a meeting today, an awesome meeting with our ice cream vendors, our vets. And if I want to tell you how awesome it was, these guys came in humble, like the heroes they are, and they came in and they're like, what do we have to do? So we read, Lisa was there late, she had a prior engagement, I was there all alone to handle it. So I'm not trying to throw her under the bus or anything. But yes, I handled it without Lisa. And the men were wonderful. We basically, we opened up for discussion. They basically got out their feelings on each other. The territory issues on the beach are no more. Everybody gets to walk from Jackson to Fredericksburg. They can sit if they want. They're going to stay mobile. There's no setting up tents. They can do a little umbrella if they want, a little Mary Poppins job, parasol, whatever you want. But it's not going to be something, you know. I told certain ice cream guys there's no mobile homes down there, no Winnebagos they can sell out of. All that's gone. And the whole thing is just being respectful to each other. And that goes to our complaints last year came from the citizens of Ventnor, as well as themselves. So they all shook hands. They were great. I got no negative feedback. Lisa eventually showed up for the last 5 minutes, and she can attest to the work I did with that. It did pretty good. She had a meeting with Maria, who felt her meeting must have been more important than mine, because it was the biggest thing on Facebook was the ice cream guys. But that's all a thing of the past. We're starting fresh and new, and everybody left very, very happy. So that's it in a nutshell. And
Chief, were they all here? Because I know some of them aren't local.
Some of them I met with the ones that could not make it. I had 10 of the 14, 15. One of them is very sick. He has jaw cancer. He's getting his jaw replaced. Some of them are still in Florida, and I met with them, or I've talked with them at length. We set down a specific, non-specific dress code. Nothing funky, nothing offensive, clean. I taught them all the, little hygiene thing about, they can smell in the summer and stuff like that. They agree. And, it does. They sweat and everything like anybody else. And we talked to them about just about everything. Stop being nice to the public, no arguing, no fighting. And they all admitted that they, at one point, got out of hand with each other.
They want to have a meeting next year, too.
We are going, they did, and they wanted that.
They asked for that.
That was, Lisa came in for that one line. And it was good. As you remember that one thing. I probably would have forgotten that. Thank you, Lisa, for bringing that up. The last thing they said, as we were getting up and Lisa walked in, they said, we should do this every year.
There you go.
And
That's her take.
Every year. She did. She had to do that. It's what the clerks do. I had it in my family. My mother used to do it all the time. She stole my thumb. So
they're allowed to use the cart.
they are allowed to use the cart, but we told them no ATVs, no banner planes, no drones to drop ice cream, no selling of water.
Right.
No, none of that. None of that, and they agree. And there's not going to be any argument as to where they get their ice cream from. There's not going to be any this company versus this company. It's all going to be kumbaya down there, and we're going to be enforcing it from day one. And that'll include, if we have to, suspending them. So it's all in the books. We can do it. We've never had to. And I explained to them that over the course of since 1957 or 52 when they enacted this, we never had an issue like this. So why do we need to start over-policing things? They should be policing themselves, and we'll just keep a mindful watch. And people on the beach down there, if you see them acting out of the ordinary or something, or it's offensive, give us a call. Because now we're going to keep on that. We'll pull them in when it's happening, and we'll deal with it. And it'll be one time you get a warning, second time you're off the beach for a week. And then we'll work from there. So we may have to adjust the ordinance accordingly, but we'll work on that. But all in all, it was a great success in spite of
Great.
not being difficult.
Great.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, Lisa, for your input on that meeting.